Hey guys, Creighton from Cray Outdoors. In this video, I'm going to be going over my multi-species rod reel arsenal. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a while. Finally got around to it today, and for some reason my GoPro's acting really stupid. It keeps on, it's right here, keeps on shutting off mid-recording. It'll just randomly stop recording on me while I'm recording. Got very annoying, so it's done this before, but not in a while, so I'm giving up on it. I am now using my iPhone. So I apologize if the video quality and audio quality is not as good as it usually is. My GoPro's being dumb. But this is kind of nice anyway, because with the iPhone, you've actually got like a screen to look at. You know exactly what you're recording. So we'll see how this works. Anyway, rod reel arsenal. The first three rods I'm going to show you are my main all-round do-all rods, just because I figure that's what people are the most interested in. And the first two rods I'm going to show you are by far the most expensive rod reel combos. I know I said this is an affordable rod reel arsenal. Just keep in mind, after the first two, it's going to drop significantly in price. And even so, the first two expensive rod reel combos I'm going to show you are expensive, relatively speaking. If you watch some of like the top YouTubers in the fishing world, they have like $1,000 reels and $100 rods, and you know, these are like $200 rod reel combos, not even. So to start off, my Baitcaster rod reel combo. Now this is a $100 rod that I paid $35 for. That's right, $35, $100 rod. It was on clearance in Walmart. One week I went in there and all these rods were on sale for like $70. And then the next week I went in and they were on sale for $35. Yeah, I really looked into it. Didn't even really know what I was buying or what I was looking for. I just knew I wanted a Baitcaster, and it just worked out that this is a great all-round, perfect Baitcaster. A Tour KVD Quantum, medium heavy, fast action rod. It's really, I guess, like a jerk bait rod, but it's just a great all-round rod is what it is. I use it for soft plastics mainly, but I use it for topwater lures. I use it to throw frogs, jigs, everything that you think of to do with the Baitcaster, I do with this thing. In terms of the reel, I've got a Black Max, very common beginner reel. Definitely suggested if you're a beginner. It's about a $50, $45, $50 reel, which in the spin gear world, that's an expensive reel. In the world of Baitcasters, that's a very inexpensive reel, and you want to go with an inexpensive reel if you're just starting out, because when you're learning to use a Baitcaster, you're going to beat the crap out of it. Especially if you learn how to use a Baitcaster and you learn how to kayak fish in the same year, you're going to absolutely beat the crap out of this thing. I beat the crap out of the rod too this year, and the rod's held up great. The reel's held up, you know, what I expected. I'm probably definitely going to upgrade once I get my taxes back. I want a faster, fancier bait casting reel that I can use for flipping and pitching, and I mainly use it for soft plastics and frogs and jigs, in which case you want a high speed gear ratio. The Black Max has got a very moderate normal gear ratio.
Lastly, I forgot to mention, it is 50-pound test Power Pro figure 8 slick braided line that I have on this. I'm almost always using a 15-pound test fluorocarbon leader at the end of this line, just so the fish can't see it, and to give me a little bit of bite resistance for the pickerel. So that's the line for this Baitcaster. On to the next rod reel combo.
So for the next combo, this is a brand new reel that I just got for my birthday, and the rod is a Bass Pro Shops Extreme rod, medium power, fast action. If you watch Tim Galati's videos, you see that he uses this rod for absolutely everything. Every species, walleye, bass, trout. He uses it for bait fishing, spinners, spoons. You can use it for drop shots. This is just an excellent all-round multi-species rod. This is a 7-foot 2-piece rod. Preferably you'd want a 1-piece. When I bought it, I still had my sedan, and I just bought the 2-piece so it was easier to fit in my trunk. But yeah, it's been this is definitely an excellent all-round multi-species rod. I would definitely suggest it. You can do anything with this thing. And in terms of the reel, it's a Victory tour grade reel from Walmart. It's been a great reel so far. Like I said, I just got it for my birthday. I believe it was around like $80. It's the first really expensive, like tournament grade spinning reel that I've ever owned. It's by far my most expensive reel, so altogether this is like $100, and it's almost a $200 rod reel combo. Again, I paid for the rod was on sale. I believe I paid $85 or $90 for it off of the Bass Pro Shops website. The only thing I don't like about this reel, see, it reels itself in. This handle's a little bit too beefy. It's a little bit too heavy. When I'm fishing Senkos or something, it's the other thing, this rod makes a great Senko stick. When I'm fishing Senkos or something and it reels itself in like that, I think that there's a fish taking it and I get all excited, and it's just the reel reeling in its own slack line. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Otherwise, this is a great rod reel combo. Definitely suggests the rod if you're looking for an all-round do-everything multi-species rod. If I had to choose one rod out of my arsenal, this would be it. I'd choose this rod reel combo. If I had to choose one rod reel combo, if you said we're going fishing somewhere in the world, take one pole with you, this would be it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention line. This reel came with 2 spools. So on this spool, I have 8-pound test monofilament line, Berkley Trilene, I believe it is. And on the other spool, I have 10-pound test Power Pro Braid. That's nice when reels come with 2 spools, because you can use 2 different lines for, 2 different scenarios. So that's the line that I have on this thing. Next combo, getting into the inexpensive stuff. This is another great all-round rod. This is a Shakespeare Excursion. It's $20, I believe, at Walmart is what I paid for it. This used to be my all-round rod before that last rod that I just showed you. That was $100. Before that, I used this $20 rod for absolutely everything. It's not a fast action rod, but it's got like a faster action than the ugly sticks from Walmart. It's a little bit stiffer, so it's a little bit better for jigging and jerk baits and stuff. You can also use it for bait fishing. My first ever muskie was on this rod. I've caught carp on this thing. It's great for spinners and stuff. Again, it's a great all-round rod for just $20. I really personally think that Shakespeare stuff is underrated, because yeah, this is really a great rod for the price. The reel that I have on it right at the moment is a reel that was, again, a Walmart clearance deal that I got. These Abu Garcia rod reel combo for, it was on clearance for $15. It was normally $40. I don't know exactly what the reel's called, but yeah, right now I've got this reel's got 6-pound test on it. I've been using for bait fishing, fall panfish. But the other reel that I put on it is an old Akuma reel with 30-pound test, and I use that during the summer with this rod, and I use that combo for Senko fishing and heavy cover and throwing soft plastics and heavy cover. If I don't have my Baitcaster with me, or if I'm using my Baitcaster to throw frogs, I'll throw Senkos with this rod with the 30-pound test. I also use it when I'm fishing for pike and small rivers where there's lots of timber and stuff, and you need to be very, very accurate with your casting, because I'm not that accurate with my Baitcaster yet. I'll pull out this rod because I've used it for so long. I'm very accurate with it, and that 30-pound test will help me muscle the pike away from the timber and get them in easier. So yeah, this rod still makes an appearance quite a bit in my videos, even though it's not my main multi-species rod anymore. I also use it whenever I'm traveling, because if I'm on like a business trip or something, because if it gets broken or stolen in transportation, it's not a big deal because it's a $20 rod, and like I said, this reel was a really cheap reel, part of a rod reel combo. The rod in that rod reel combo broke like the second day out, but reel's been going strong. I've been using this all season. I actually had it on that Bass Pro Shops rod before I got that nice reel for my birthday. So yeah, it's been a great combo. Next we have the good old Shakespeare Ugly Stick. I use these rods for bait fishing. This was a rod reel combo for like $40. It's a Shakespeare reel. I believe it's got 4 bearings. Yeah, 4 bearings in it. Ugly Sticks are great bait fishing rods. They've got a very, very soft tip, so they're very sensitive to bites. They also work good for throwing spinners and anything where you'd use a rod with a soft tip. They're very good for fishing slow, and they're incredibly strong. One of these things will last you for a lifetime, and they're only $30 for a virtually indestructible rod. It's nice because they have that nice soft tip, so they're light enough to handle bites from trout and panfish, but yet they're so incredibly strong. They have the backbone to handle carp and catfish. So they're great. Like I said, they're great all-around bait fishing rods. I have 2 of them. This one, unfortunately, is brand new. I say that because I just bought it because I left my other ugly stick in the Poconos. I don't know if I left it at the cabin or if I left it night fishing at the lower lake. Fortunately, I think I left it night fishing at the lower lake, but hopefully I left it at the cabin and I'll get it back at some point. That rod I had since I was 14, so I'm not too angry because it was an old, beat-up rod. Not, you know, if I left my Bass Pro Shops rod or my Baitcaster behind, the $100 rods, I'd have been more upset. But that just shows you how long they last. That was my oldest rod. I had it since I was like 14 or 16 or something like that. And again, I beat the crap out of them, especially when I had my sedan. I never had my rods organized, and you know, it lasted forever. These ugly sticks will last forever. This is a brand new one. Hopefully this one lasts as long as the old one, or if not longer. Hopefully I don't leave it anywhere. Yeah, this one's a little bit different. It's a Lite Pro. It's a little bit more expensive than this one's a G something, a GX2, whatever that means. But it's an ugly stick, so I know it's good and strong and it'll last forever. In terms of the reel, this is a pretty cheap reel. It actually seems very similar to the expensive reel that my parents bought me for my birthday. Only that one was like $80, and this reel here is like $20. It's got 6 bearings in it. Seems nice and light. Seems like a great reel. It did only come with 1 spool, but yeah, we'll see how long it lasts, and hopefully these things will last forever. I use these things for bait fishing for carp, for catfish, for panfish. I use these 2 rods for bait fishing, absolutely everything. Whenever you see me bait fishing, I'm usually using one of my ugly sticks. Yeah, definitely would suggest ugly sticks if you're going to be bait fishing or any situation where you want something with a slow, soft tip. Once again, I forgot to mention line. I have 10-pound test monofilament line on my ugly sticks. That's a very versatile line for bait fishing. It's 10-pound test is, you know, usually strong enough to handle carp and catfish as long as you have your drag set, and it's also light enough for panfish and trout and stuff. So 10-pound test is what I have on my ugly sticks. Now we're getting into my rod reel combos that are a little bit more specific. This one's a little bit more specific. This is my small stream ultralight rod. I use this for small stream trout fishing. This is another one of those ugly sticks, GX2s, only it's 5 feet and obviously ultra light. I have 6-pound test fluorocarbon line is what I use on this pole. The reel, I don't even remember what kind of reel it is. It's a Mitchell Avocet, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a Mitchell reel. I believe it was like a $20 or $30 reel. The rod, I believe, is $20 or $30. Ugly sticks are about $20 to $30. They're pretty cheap. And yeah, it's an ugly stick, so I know it's good and strong. If I ever hook into a big sucker or a big trout, I know it's strong enough to handle it. And it's got that soft tip. I mainly use, when I'm small stream trout fishing, I'm mainly using spoons, spinners, or I'm bait fishing. And so, once again, ugly sticks are great for bait fishing, and they're good for spoons and spinners. I do like to jig my spoons, and having that soft tip isn't real great for that, but in these small stream trout streams, the trout, I don't know, I guess they don't really, action isn't as important as the accuracy of casting in the right spot. Definitely would suggest an ugly stick. I definitely would suggest picking up a short ultralight rod if you're planning on small stream fishing. Doesn't need to be an ugly stick. It can be, you know, anything. They have even cheaper ones at Walmart that are like $10 Shakespeare's that are short, ultralight, small stream rods. I had one of those before I upgraded to the ugly stick. They break. The ugly sticks pretty much last forever, so that's why I bought an ugly stick, because I know this thing's going to last forever, and I have confidence that it's not going to break off on a big trout. So here is my Steelhead / trout in lakes rod. It's an 8.5 foot Okuma rod. It's an Okumo, I don't know exactly how to pronounce this. Silo. I believe it's a Silo. I believe it's a Silo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Whatever that says. Yeah, that's what this rod is. It's a medium light action, 8.5 foot. If you do a lot of pier fishing, or if you do a lot of fishing for trout in lakes where you want to cast really, really far, I would definitely suggest picking up a rod that's 8.5 feet or longer. Now that I have a SUV, I'd probably actually go, I believe they have in this rod an 8.5 foot, 9 feet, or 10 feet or something like that. I'd actually probably get like the 10-foot one. It's great because you can whip these little tiny trout spoons and spinners and stuff, and you can just whip them forever with these things. Also, the longer the rod you have, the more natural a drift you're going to get if you're drifting egg sacs or something steelhead fishing. And also, these work great for pier fishing if you're fishing over a big railing on the pier. Being able to have a nice long rod, again, will give you a more natural presentation, allow you to cast farther, and it's just a lot easier to detect bites and bring fish up over the wall on piers. So, yeah, definitely would suggest picking up an 8.5 foot rod if you live in Western New York, or if you do steelhead fishing, or any situation where, like I said, you're casting really far in lakes. It's been a great rod. The reel is an Okuma Avenger. These reels are nice. They have this system where you push this back thing and it lets the gears loose. It's great for like fishing carp and stuff, where and even trout, where you're just sort of letting it sit there, and that allows the fish to take it without taking your pole in the water. I really like these Avenger reels. Definitely would suggest them. Again, there's 2 spools that these reels come with. On this one, I have 8-pound test monofilament line. On the other one, I have 6-pound test monofilament line. Monofilament line is important because it's a little bit more freeze resistant than braided line, and that's important because I'm usually using this thing below freezing temperatures, whether I'm steelhead fishing or fishing for trout in the lakes that they stock at the end of the season. So yeah, I like this rod so much, in fact, that I actually bought a second one that's a heavy action. So this rod's basically the exact same thing as the other one, only instead of a medium light power, this one is heavy power. And I bought this in case A, I ever go salmon fishing, heavy power to handle the big salmon, and B, I bought it for bait fishing, muskie. The main way I catch muskie is drifting suckers. Again, having that nice long 8.5 foot rod, you get a more natural drift, and being heavy action, it handles those suckers just fine. And any situation where I'm bait fishing, I like to bait fish with big suckers and shiners, and even like perch and stuff that I catch. I'll catch a little perch on one of my ugly sticks, and then I'll throw them on here, and you can whip them out there really far. Great method for catching big bass and pike and stuff, and that is legal in New York. Some people say it's not, but it is if you read the regulations. And so yeah, that's what I use this rod for, and I have it in case they ever do go salmon fishing. I can run big flat fish and stuff, and it's heavy action, so it's good and strong enough to handle those salmon. Right now I have on an old Okuma. This is that reel I was telling you about that I use on that Shakespeare Excursion Rod. This is that old Okuma reel. I'll show you the reel that I actually bought for this thing, which is a little bit overkill, which is why it's not on there right at the moment.
So this is the reel that I bought for it, which is definitely overkill. This is like a saltwater fishing reel. I didn't realize it was going to be this big, but I do use it. And again, that bait feeder system where you flick that switch and it unlocks the gears is very handy. I do use a heavy action pole with this reel on it for bait fishing for carp and catfish as well. So yeah, I do use this rod reel combo, even this big gigantic crazy reel I've got on 40-pound test braid is what I have on this pole. And so I'm not wasting money. This pole holds a ton of line. So it has like 100 yards of the braid, and then like another like 200 yards of 12-pound test monofilament backing. So that's my heavy action rod reel combo. And yeah, big giant reel. Not on there at the moment, but I will use it when I'm muskie fishing and carp and catfish fishing.
And lastly, just to show you real quick, this isn't really part of my arsenal, but these are the rods that my dad uses for bait fishing. These Shakespeare Durangos. They're like $10 at Walmart, and he has a bad habit of closing car doors on fishing rods, and he's kind of a cheapskate, so he uses these very inexpensive, super cheap fishing rods. And honestly, if you're just bait fishing, these are all you need. And if all you're doing is like bait fishing and throwing spinners and stuff, or you're just looking for a one weekend fishing experience, don't think you need anything expensive. You can get away with a $10 rod. He catches carp and everything else on these things. They're actually, believe it or not, pretty strong. They're not as sensitive as the ugly stick, not as strong as the ugly stick, but they're strong enough, and these things last, you know, they'll last years for them. So yeah, they're great rods for the $10 price tag. And it's never a bad idea to pick a few of these rods up and maybe put an old junky reel on them, just in case your friends ever go fishing with you. Friends that don't often go fishing with you, that cast in trees and step on them and have a high probability of breaking them. Never a bad idea to pick up a few of these $10 rods. You never know when you might need them, even for a backup for yourself. If you just have a couple other rods in case one breaks. Never a bad idea to have some extra rods, and these are great, cheap rods if you're just looking for a backup or something for your friends to use. So this is my 2016 rod reel arsenal. These are the rods and reels that you see me using in all of my videos. The only thing that I might upgrade going into 2017 is, I plan to upgrade the reel on my Baitcaster, as I said, to a reel with a higher speed gear ratio that I can use for flipping and pitching and stuff. And I do plan on eventually getting either a heavy action bass rod that I can use swim baits and muskie lures on, or a very light action muskie rod, in which case I'll probably take the Black Max reel and use that on that rod until I wear out the gears on that, and then buy, you know, a real swim bait reel for it. Just something heavier that I can use the muskie lures on. My Baitcaster is a little short for muskie fishing and a little weak for those big swim baits when you're bass fishing. But otherwise, this will probably be my rod reel arsenal going into 2017 as well. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something if you're looking to get into multi-species fishing. And be sure to subscribe if you have not already.